right, everyone, welcome to the stream and welcome to the close. Big rip today, but is it as good as everybody thinks? Is it a bit of a trap? Is it what we expect to see? So on the surface, it looks pretty good. I mean, basically, it's the type of thing we were talking about in the weekend video, which is that we've made a new peak and that we see, of course, follow through. The big beneficiary of this was Tesla, which again seemed to be one of the better plays. Let's just have a look at Tesla just to really understand what happened here. It came out of the gates pretty strong. Basically, we had a trough, we had a peak, we had a higher trough, and then we saw it open up above that previous support. It rips into that, which makes sense, and it's a good day trade. Now, the question then becomes, is it going to sustain? Is this type of thing going to sustain? I don't think we can look at Tesla necessarily to try to figure out whether a market gain is going to sustain or be able to hold up. But let's just look at a couple of things here. We'll get the trend line out and just go through these lines. You're getting close to that point where you expect Tesla to possibly have a little bit of selling. We've got a great rip here, 10% plus up in the day. You do expect a lot of day traders to probably close their orders and say, you know what, that was pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm done for now. I think the indices, though, always show us more information than anything else. And while we did get new peaks, and this proved to be a very nice little rip so far today, there may not be as much as people think left in it before problems start to occur. And a lot of these reasons are around where it just hit. It's hit the first level. Support becomes resistance. Just above this, about 200 points away, 150 points away, we have 15,000. 15,000 is a massive psychological level here for the US 100 Nasdaq, and it's where the 200 and the 20 meet. And I think you've got to remember that this 20 was a well-respected moving average for a lot of the bull run. So it's probably going to be a bit of a well-respected moving average here at 15,000. And that's one of my key levels for when you see a bull run come back in, where the sellers may start to enter. So sellers may even enter here coming into the close just because where we are. But in general, this rip to 15,000, that's where you're going to expect the sellers to really come back into the market and say, you know what, I've made some good money here in the last week. I'm going to sell it off. Same thing goes for S&P 500, really good brace. Maybe that is as low as we go. But the 20 moving average is here. And the more important one is the weekly. So we've still got a little bit of room here for the bulls. The bulls could push this well up into the 20. And then at this point here, which would pretty much be 15K on the Nasdaq, we would be seeing issues. So 45, 50, something we theorized on the weekend video, between this level and this level here is where we expect problems to occur. And the main reason is because 20 moving average, let's just have a look at how many times that was held. So it was held once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, continues on throughout the bull run. When it comes back up and tests it, you would expect it to find resistance. So the bull run is good. Congratulations to anybody that day traded this, especially if you day traded Tesla. It's becoming one of my favorite stocks to day trade. I think it's just incredibly strong from that aspect. Let's go over to the chat, see how everybody is going. How is everyone going today? Gary says we can only rule out bear trap once SPX closes above 45.50, probably about 4,600, but 45.50 certainly a great first level. Absolutely, it would be. Tom, can you please look at Twitter for me? Yeah, we'll check it out maybe a little bit later. Glad to see some green action. That's good. Last time I bought Tesla was at 700. Waited all the way until it came back down to 800 to buy more. Can't believe I waited, though, through the FOMO. Well, that's testament to the fact that you're starting to probably realize that you do get a lot of opportunities, even in crazy stocks. Now, there was a point where you may not have got opportunities. Obviously, the beginning of 2021 was crazy, and you had to be very, very, very good to hold back on those investments a little bit, but it's certainly paid off for you. So well done there. Andre says, I ended the month with negative 0.2% performance of my portfolio thanks to oil. Well, that's lucky. Telecommunications and tobacco companies. Bought the dip on Salesforce. Do you think Netflix will go lower? Okay, let's have a look at a couple of stocks. But in general, I think the market here is fairly good. I mean, it's had what we would class as a great kind of base accumulation over a couple of days. We obviously get that trough. We get that consolidation, get the bullish movement here, and we're seeing the bullish follow through. The big key, I think, is that we could even see further follow through, though, where it comes up to these 20 moving average within the next session and then starts to see sell off. I'm not sure whether it'll be like this or whether it'll just go up and then sell off. I don't know which one it is, whether it's a pullback first. I wouldn't expect it to just go again like that. I think the thing that sends it down like that is probably going to be the US jobs numbers. Some kind of news, maybe some economic data. Remember, Monday has nothing in it as well. So Monday into Tuesday are not really concerns from the earnings side. We look at the earnings side, guys. It's just not there. Where's our earnings sheet? Here we go. So is there anything here that's scary? Absolutely not. The market can definitely run. This is not the right earnings, but we'll get rid of this one. There we go. So the AMD, PayPal, Alphabet, Meta, Amazon, some big ones that can really knock around the market. They're some of the ones that'll come out. So Tuesday after the close is probably when you expect to see that increased volatility coming in. And if the market continues to rip, then this could be the excuse as well. Though I do expect this to do okay. And I'm not sure about these companies here. We'll have to find out how well they do compared to market movement. DXY has come back down, which is good, I guess, if you're trading gold and hoping that thing will come back. It's almost back at 1800 again, which is good. Dollar index is weakening here. So that's coming all the way back down. Let's have a look at some of the key factors that we should be looking at. This is still concerning. 2 years still sitting at 1.17. I'd like to see this drop more for us really to be considering a fully fledged buy up in the markets. And then also the 10-year should be dropping a little bit more. It's consolidating, which is not bad. Obviously, we watch these interest rates every single day to figure out whether the market's actually still spooking or not. Crypto is looking much better. The Dow is looking pretty shocking, which is showing, again, rotation, 0.86% on the Dow, not very good. And IWM has pulled back 2.12%, the second best performing index of the day. So that's good. But congrats to Tesla day traders. That was certainly the one to pick. If I was to pick anything, that was the one for the Monday session. That was the best one. The second best one, just because I've been looking at it as buying accumulation, was probably SPLK for me. SPLK still looks fairly strong. This was one that was recovering into the whole crash because, of course, this was the news that came out. It found the base, and it looks like it's strengthening through that. So things like this are doing quite well. Here we have a weekly long leg doji. Hopefully we get the close above that. We've got a new member, John Kennedy. Thank you so much for becoming a new member and sponsoring the channel. Appreciate it, John. Thank you so much. Dead cat bounce. Not sure if it's dead cat bounce, but certainly could be a bit of a trap here. I still expect that we do come back down again after. So almost everything across the board is doing pretty well. Obviously, ARK coming back with a resurgence of 8.36%. You can see here the important area it's at. That's a nice day trade as well. There was some that did even better than Tesla. Spot up 12.85%. Wow. Netflix up 10.38%. You'd almost think Netflix is a bit of a bargain, really. I know people are pretty negative on it because of the sentiment, but it's back at June 18 prices. It clearly did better during the pandemic. I know it's dropping a lot fundamentally and things like that, but it's not obscene. $188 billion company. It's doing okay. It's got good support here. It's an interesting level for sure. One of our favorites, Net, doing 13% today. Fantastic. Crowd up 6.29%. There's not much really to hate, but you just got to remember that a lot of these rips, while they might sustain for another day, could turn around just as fast. So these are great. It's a great day if you've managed to pick up in this dip. If you manage to just say, you know what, all I do is I just go, I'm looking at that weekly and I'm just going, I like that 50 exponential moving average, 4,300, 4,200-ish area was where I wanted to buy. I instigate my plan and I don't care what anyone else has to say. Well, guess what? You're in the green at the moment. So well done. That would have put you, even if you was bought here, still up 3.67% on the index. So it does pay sometimes to forget about what other people have to say and to have your own plan and to have your own strategy and not to be blind. That doesn't mean just buying the dip everywhere because you can get stuffed up there. But if you buy the dip based on, remember, if you go over to a stock, let's call it stock A, and you say, hey, I want to buy stock A, and then you time that with an index such as the SPX or the S&P 500 hitting a support, you're actually doing a lot better than probably 90% of traders out there because you're using a major index to pinpoint your stock purchase over here. And I don't know why, but a lot of people don't do that. Do most of you do that? A lot of people don't tend to use the index to actually buy the stock. They go look at the stock rather than looking at the index to actually find out where the support is. Slobodan says, Netflix and other raise of subscription prices, I think they're becoming greedy. Yeah, they're just becoming a cable network. It's all just going the same way of the cable. We all got rid of cable, then these subscription services came in, then they were cheaper, then now it's going to cable price. You watch. You're going to be paying more for subscription services than you were for cable television. John Moore says, I want to be able to do that, but it seems complicated. Well, it's not really. I mean, you could just say, I buy 20 and I go buy stock when it hits the 20, or I buy stock when it hits the 50. It's not too difficult. Finn McCool says, Neo, 16%. You know what? I haven't seen that stock in a while. I thought it was kind of dead. And it is kind of dead. Wow. Yeah. That's uncool. I mean, 16% today, sure, but I don't know. This is why I don't trade these things that have just come in for a few years. Well, especially this one. Well, you could trade them, but I don't usually invest in them. And this wasn't very tradable. It wasn't that easy. Well, congrats. I mean, it's good that it's up, but geez, that's had a rough time. Good close for it, technically. I mean, you've got that obviously short gap below, gap up, buy, close. I mean, that's a very nice morning, as you would know in the technical analysis world. 2750 could be the next stop for it. It might even time up nicely with the rest of the market. So, yeah, very nice theoretical pattern there. Is it a possible triple bottom on Barber? Yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of people are stuck in Barber. That must be why, because everyone keeps messaging me Barber, 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 Barber. I'm like, there's so much better opportunities than Barber out there. But yes, it is looking better on the charts. Where was it? I had it up here before. So there's the triple bottom concept. Look, I definitely think the base was in the other day. And I mentioned that. I don't know what it was. I think it was our private hangout. I think somebody asked me. I do think you found the base. I do think that maybe some of these stocks will do better than we expect over the next year. But you've got to ask yourself the question, is that really where you want to be? Do you prefer to be in a stock like this that's really had some big problems? I mean, here's the second step of recovery. So you've got that downward trend line. You've got a 20 moving average on the weekly as well that you have to break. So if you bring that up, you'll notice that's right around the same level. And then you've got the triple bottom base, which is here and then there. So everything comes down to this. This is where everyone participates around that price, which is 140. So it's still far off 140, but after 140, I would go, yes, very nice looking chart. Fantastic. We might bring it back in. But here, I still think there's better opportunities. SPX to 6,000 this year. 6,000 sitting at 4. Maybe. I don't know about 6,000. Probably a bit high. 50, 250 by the end of the year. Gary says, zero chance I'm ever trading Barber. Fair enough. Give Barber 18 months. It's bear. I'm not sure if it's bear. It looks much better, but isn't confirmed yet. You're right. Stock ticker watermark. Sure, we'll chuck that on. I don't know why it keeps exiting itself. There you go. Great to have you here, Monica Durgesh. There you go. I think it would drop. Hopefully not. Second high of the day close. Yes. And Kunal says my portfolio up 4%. Congratulations. Yes, it's good. We've got Ulrich in here, Shogun in here. I mainly trade stocks, but I always TA, S&P, and NAS to add more confluence to my stock ideas. Well, you're doing it the correct way, but I know you do. I know you do. So that's good. So is there other opportunities? That's the question. Well, certainly on the weekend, I was bullish on the idea of Tesla as a day trade. I liked that a lot. It was good. It was really good. Thank you very much. But I don't like this stock. I know everybody loves Apple. I think it's this thing here. I don't like its price. You know what? I'm just not going to have any anymore. I've decided. It's done. Goodbye, Apple. I'll go find me some other cheese because it just doesn't interest me at that price. Now, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have to interest you. I just think that it's overpriced. And I know you could say, well, a lot of things are overpriced, Tom. Yeah. It's great stock. It's never, ever technically done wrong, but it's at that high level. And I'll show you, it's still at the high level. And even after the big, crazy earnings, I know it's got the growth curve. I know everything's good, but these ratios starting to get high. Starting to get high again. So the PE ratio is probably higher than this as well. So we're getting back into that probably 32 territory, even with the big earnings, because we don't have the big earnings here on this chart yet. So I think that ratio is starting to get up there. I don't really like the ratio being so high. And there's another stock as well that I think it's too high for, and that's going to be NVIDIA. I'm going to put a warning out on NVIDIA. I love NVIDIA very much. Oops, probably need to spell NVIDIA right. I'm not sure about this ratio. This is always a concern I have with this stock. But when it gets out of control ratio-wise, compared to its average over time, which is probably more about the 40. Like, I'm not saying it has to go down to 20 or anything like that. I just think it's a little bit too expensive, even with its growth curve. So this one here, the old AAPL and the old NVIDIA still kind of terrify me. This one I'm not letting go. I want it forever. Never let go of the NVIDIA. That's the new motto. All right, we've got here a couple of super chats. Eric Bound, 179. Please look at AYRO and ATER. Thank you. All right, we'll check it out. Gary says Apple is very resilient. Was hoping it would drop hard. Yeah, what's everyone else's opinion on those stocks based on that? Did we have a look at IWM already? Well, look, we've looked at IWM. We know it's up, but we haven't completed any extra analysis on it. We will in the daily video, but I know we're 7 minutes away from the close. So we'll do a couple of super chats. We'll have a chat to you guys about some of the stocks that we're liking right now. Oh, this is a nice little base, isn't it? Certainly a stock that's come down hard. Whoa, in the middle of nowhere land. Okay, so it's worth $44 million. So it's a puny little stock. And it has absolutely nowhere but down action for quite some time here. Look, it's obviously sick. I think that's something you need to realize. It's never broken its downtrend, which is something that at least gives you some technical reason maybe to like it. It's very, very bad on the downtrend. Look, you're probably looking at a double bottom for something like this because you're trying to pick the base. Maybe I should create a video on this. When you're trying to pick the base, you really need to be sure. And one of the ways that you have to be sure is you have to see the patterns fall out. So, like maybe a double bottom, you have to see a moving average that it's been respecting break as well and close above. You need at least probably three separate reasons to be in that trade for the long. Otherwise, you're going to be buying it here and here and here and here and get just destroyed on the way down. So the double bottom base is there. I would say $1.28 is probably the first for that one. And let's have a look at ATER for you, which is called Atarian. Another one that's got a base formation, package software. It's fallen down a hell of a lot as well. It kind of almost looks the same. And a few of these stocks will. This one here is probably dueling a little bit with the 20 moving average. You'll notice that it's always respected that on the way down. It's got the double bottom technically broken today, but I think you need that 20 moving average as well. It's improving, and that's what I would be looking at for those. Eric Bound, $8.99. Thank you so much, Eric. Appreciate that. ATER and AYRO. Oh, well, thank you very much for the double donation, sir. Well, hopefully that helps. But yeah, that's what I think this one has a much more solid just because the 20 moving average is so respected. I mean, that's cool. So a great level, support, resistance, double bottom, earnings a while away, which is nice. You need this level here to be cracked. And then maybe you've got some stages of recovery coming through. Let's see what everybody else thinks about prices. A few people like AMD. Let's actually have a look at AMD on the charts. It went to $100, has now no doubt returned decent. So $100, great support level. Just fell off a cliff. This was one of the stocks that in many ways surprised me in 2021. I was surprised that AMD was able to get to 146. Now, I have a 5900X or whatever it is, a pretty good processor. They 59s now? Yeah, I think 5900X. By the way, great processor if you want to render videos. Very, very nice. But the volume, the trade in AMD is just it's phenomenal compared to what I've ever seen in the past on this stock. Even it being able to hold these levels, it surprised me because I'm used to AMD being a pump dump where it pumps up for a little while and then it dumps off hard and you can see where it goes. I mean, can you believe in 2015 it was worth $1.80? $1.80. That's almost one of the best returns you've seen in a while. I mean, look at this. People forget where this stock went to. $1.80. I remember it down there. Damn, that's a big percentage gain. But it has done these things before where it's gone like a $40 back in 06 when it had the, oh man, was it Opteron cause? I think was the big thing back then, something like that. And then it's had a couple of resurgences. But this was a fundamental shift for the business when they started bringing out those really solid processors. They've done amazingly well. But yeah, $100, it's a good level. Big follow through. Again, hard to trade this one unless you were just going, I want to buy $100. It's not as easy as maybe the Tesla from the day trade. And I think that's why, if you're a trader in stocks and indices, it might be better off at the moment sticking to some indices. And I said this to the private community as well. And having your 5 maybe top stocks that you understand that actually have a lot of trade volume on them. Because you seem to be, and you always will, you tend to get very similar opportunities across all the stocks during a rebound. They all look kind of similar. But if you understand what's happening, and especially if you're in a trader's stock like a Tesla right now, you get those really big returns. So here you get 8.47, nothing to sneeze at all. But you would have got about 10 out of Tesla coming into that close. PS3 Pawn says Nvidia and Apple are my biggest positions. Hey, yeah, they're many people's biggest positions. It's not that I think they're bad companies. I don't. I like both a lot. I just don't know whether I want to buy Apple and hold it here when I've got other opportunities in stocks. That's all. So Nvidia, another nice double bottom base. I mean, they're all better than they were, but I think we need to be aware that this one is better. Nvidia at least is priced down a little bit. Apple is priced all the way at the peak still. So I'm just saying, is there better opportunity in the markets right now when you've got Apple about 4-5% away from peak highs, and then you can go and pick up a quality other stock that's 20% down still? This is a decision that sometimes you have to make, whether that's the right thing for you to do. And that's, of course, your decision. And I'm just looking at the pure fundamentals. That's all. And the pure fundamentals based on just the stats alone, not maybe a full understanding of the businesses, would say that these are getting pretty high. Double bottom base on Nvidia as well. It's been a little bit slower to really make this big turnaround story come through. And if you have a look from the bottom to where it is now, it's up about 15%. But if you look from the bottom here all the way to the peak, it's actually 61%. So there's a huge runway for this stock if it is able to get back up there. I'm not sure if it will, but yeah, it certainly is. Gary says, I love Apple and Nvidia. Those are my forever stocks. No worries. Totally good. And Matt says, I like Microsoft price. I don't blame you on Microsoft. I think Microsoft is very decent considering its growth curve trajectory, solid kind of constant earnings. They can obviously increase their subscription cost. You know, the thing that I like about this company so much is that they can increase Office 365. Now, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? Netflix, all right, you increase your price. Well, I don't want Netflix anymore. Goodbye. You don't have to watch their shows. But when they increase, I mean, these guys are full on monopoly. They can increase their price. What are you going to do about it? Does anybody in the chat have something that they could do about that? M3 says, I wish I bought NVIDIA in March 2019 instead of my RTX 2070. Yeah, that's true. That would have been nice. What's the name of that website you were using, Tom? It's macrotrends.net. Quite a good little website, macrotrends.net. So we closed there. The market held very well. In fact, the US 100 rallied in. So if we want to have a quick look here, US 100 rallied into the close. For anyone that's joining us, we've got 821 viewers out there. Thank you so much for joining us. We're waiting for the market really to just rip a little bit more here. We're hoping even in the futures it may rip up there. 15,000 is kind of the target here for this bull run before we come into problems for them. The Nasdaq perspective and the US 500, we're looking for the 20 moving average on the weekly, which is sitting around 45.50. So if you've been watching our weekend video and you know anything about our peak, trough, higher peak, higher trough kind of scenarios, then I'm sure you were having a bit of a bonanza today. As soon as it came through, it cracked peaks and we saw really great runs. There was really no excuse for you not to have a go at something today from a day trade perspective, in my opinion, okay? I'm sure many of you did, but I'd like to ask the community, how many of you had a go at a few things today? Did you trade Tesla? Did you trade something else? Let us know in the comments right now. I want to know where you were. Where were you today? Was it Apple? Was it Nvidia? Was it Tesla? Was it another stock? Let us know if you bought something for the comments here, or it's just going, or whether you're going to hold it. Mohammed says, Nasdaq moving to 15.6, then crash continues to 13,000, putting it on the bet. 15.6, wow, that's high, man, before a crash or a pullback. Wow. And Snoozer says, Apple for 130 is a deal. That'd be awesome. That's much better PE ratio. And Nvidia for 150, that'd be fantastic. Again, that would be actually a very nice level. That would be back down around that 40 PE. That's what we need to do. We need to do that 40 PE would be fantastic here. Spy and Barber from YM. Tesla and Spy from Dim Sum. Eva Hand 1 says Tesla. Fair enough. I didn't trade anything, but I'm up 95% long since last Monday. Woohoo. You get the diamond hands. No, I haven't heard that comment in a while, but you've got you bought into the Fed. Nice. You bought into the fear. SMUSA says thumbs up. Very good. RK, fair enough. CRM going to hold a bit. No worries. That's pretty good. Let's have a quick look at CRM here for you. Great. It's one of my long hold stocks as well. Stupid stock came back. Was all looking great. This was a pretty good pickup in May, I thought. Was I wrong? Probably should take it off for 300, eh? Oh, well. CRM, yes, I don't mind the stock. It's more solid. It's obviously not a stock that's going to go blow the lights out and become worth $700 or anything like that anytime soon. But yeah, improvement there. Very good. Tesla, AMD, Nvidia. I've been trading SPY for weeks. Today was nice. Tomorrow short. Tomorrow could be short, and it's just going to come down to whether we continue up here in the futures. 45.50, even this level's kind of around the resistance, but 45.50, that 15K on the NAS, it just makes sense to me to hit it. I find it difficult to say. I mean, we're close. We are close. How close are we percentage-wise? Less than 1%. What do you think? What's the community think? Do you think that's where we sell off? Does this make sense to you? I don't think we have a rip without a pull. It's not V-shaped bonanza like it was last year and the year before. I just think there are valid reasons. Plus, we still have the 2-year going up here. So this is more of the lurches of the kind of increase and decline of markets. So that's usually what happens. It goes down, 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 pull back. Everyone feels great. Down, 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 down. You know, that's the traps that are there. Christoph was eating out with a friend. Tell that friend they owe you a lot of money, Christoph. They owe you a lot of money. That was a really expensive brunch. Really expensive. Got some Netflix. Soxal best games of the year for me. What is this? Soxal. Oh, best gains. 3x, yeah. Semiconductor 3x. You're a brave person, but I understand why. Best performing market sector. You can get some big gains if you get the right price on it. Ouch. No worries. Bears versus Bulls. All good. So a lot of people buying very similar stocks. A few people buying a little bit different. Chris Walker here, CCS, TSM, semiconductor there. FCX, CAT, bought all 4. Picked up BB and increased my Beyond. Okay. Tesla, Soxal. A few people in Soxal. DKNG, good day trade today. Fantastic. And Sandollar77 coming in with the $4 super sticker. Appreciate that. Sandollar says SoFi/Hood calls crushed it. Geez, I thought Hood was dead. Let's have a look at this thing. 14%. So actually it's up 40% on the bottom here because of how far down it was. Isn't that crazy? It's actually 40% in 2 days. That's just how far this thing had declined and how much it moved up. So the earnings came out and it's improved. That's SoFi stock now. This is so popular, this one. I see it all the time. I don't have any interest in it at this stage, as in like I'm not in it or anything. I have seen volume, though, improve on it recently. So there's been a lot of trade here from retail trade, I would assume. The thing about this stock is we need to remember this is kind of like that new AMC GME from the aspect of it has the pumpy dumpy. So it pumps quite a lot. It's pumped a few times here. It is, if you like this stock for whatever reason, this is kind of the price for it, isn't it? QQQ resistance 369. I think tomorrow market will sell off. People say 15,090 to 15,2. More bullish case 15,633 where the gap is. That's going to be a pretty big return. 15.6. Yeah. So this is from Ulrich, pretty big member of the private community. Thank you very much. So we have here, I think probably some of the key scenarios. Got the 15K. You breach the 15K, basically the 15.6, which obviously is previous resistance, support. And if we look at this on the NDX rather than the real market, that's the kind of movement that we've had so far. I don't think there's any serious gaps here that need to be worried about, but certainly some stuff. Christoph says he paid for lunch, but fair enough. Yeah. Could have been on that Tesla pay train. Roku. SoFi is a good company. So according to Juice, says high growth, well managed, just received banking license a few days ago. Well, at least they can now do something. Roku. What is the community's thoughts on Roku? I've never used the product. I don't really understand it. I never have. I've never owned it. Is this stock good, or was it had its time in the sun and it's over? What do you think? Community, what do you think? It's at the level just like the rest where there is some support. Obviously, we know it's been a lot higher, as in 490. Not even sure if I know what this is going to do. I mean, from a 2-hour perspective, you would say it's form-based, just like the other stocks. But even the weekly, I'm just not convinced of much. I mean, we have a long leg doji like we do on a lot of hyper stocks down around here. I want to see that thing hold above. And then I think for this stock, I'd be understanding it fundamentally. There'd be no way that I would trade this not fundamentally. Even the trade volume seems to be lower in the stock for quite some time. Maybe improved a little bit here, but not consistent. Sherlock Holmes, $5 super sticker. Thank you so much, Sherlock. Appreciate your support. What's a Roku? I don't know. I know it's a television thing. And then it says here, Roku, I hope, is not over standardized smart TV. That's not big brand Apple or Samsung. Best smart TV you can buy. Not interested in the TV service personally. What about NVIDIA Shield? NVIDIA Shield. Isn't that the same thing? NVIDIA Shield's awesome. It's a TV service. Okay. Yeah. I've never owned it. Glenn Bear says, happy Roku customer here. I've used their hardware for a long time and it's great. Finkin79, what's a TV? Exactly. And Christopher, good to have you here. Haven't been in a while. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. Having a good day. Let's just quickly look through this crypto world, the wonderful world of crypto. So make sure we're on log, though you can use non-log here regular. You'll actually get a better trend line. So what is going on in the world of Bitcoin? Can we even call this a recovery? Here's the problem, all right? And there's many problems with the crypto world at the moment, is that every rally here from Bitcoin is kind of weak. We're used to some nice rallies, some big moves. We're obviously in the Lunar New Year. I think that starts today, or starts on the 1st. So when the year of the tiger, I'm not sure if tigers bring in the Bitcoin gains, but anyway, that's not a thing as much as it used to be. It used to be that you'd get into Lunar New Year, you'd see weakness, you'd see selling for red packets. That was a bit of a phenomenon. I don't think it's there because it's just not as big a deal as it once was. But yeah, we have a downward trend. We know that we have a few respectable levels, such as the 20 moving average here. So the 20 moving average is a bit of an issue. It's passed it once over here and then instantly kind of rejected twice and fell off, and it didn't get past the horizontal. Here we come back up to it again, and we really need to breach that and breach 40,000. I think the problem with every one of these recoveries is they've just been so weak. And it is recovering and it is showing some signs of strength. It's not even across the board that much. Maybe Ethereum's coming with it as well. Polkadot's coming back up almost at $20 again, but not every one of these cryptos is moving that well. Let's think about the current smaller time frame trade. We've got a bit of a trend line up here. Obviously, that one outlier, you've got good support, becomes resistance sitting around 38.5. So that's going to be a level for day traders that are looking for breach. And they're just going to look for a breach right around here, trade it into 40 to 41, so about 41K. And then other than that, we don't really know whether this is fully in recovery mode because it just doesn't seem like it is at this stage. It's kind of nimbly going up there, slow, following the Nasdaq a little bit. If the Nasdaq drops, all of a sudden Bitcoin's falling off a cliff again. So it's not really acting independently. The good news is the dollar index dropped today, which has been good for gold. It's been good for obviously Bitcoin as well. Ethereum, another one that's strengthening. It's kind of had a little breakout here in terms of a closure breakout. So maybe that's the first good sign. Ethereum towards 3,000 seems like one of the other trades that people are looking at right now. There's the breach. 3,000. What's the community think? You reckon Ethereum can get to 3,000? And PS3 Pawn says Wales waiting for the White House to release details on proposed crypto regulations before buying. I tend to agree. It's probably a big thing about it. And Christoph says BTC looks like a bear flag. Yeah, I tend to agree with that as well. Like, I mean, it's, you know, you look at this, there is a case to be said that this is bearish flag. There's the pole. There's your flag. There's the next pole coming. Everyone's very fuddy on it, though. Tough to trade compared to the market right now, the stock market, the old crypto market. Ethereum showing the best price action at this stage. Thad says, thought we were going to see BTC at 100K last December. What gives? Mixture of regulation and crazy NFT. Everyone pulled their money, man. The problem was, I know it's still technically in the cryptoverse, but it all went to NFTs. All the hype and all the FOMO cash that you need to push something went to NFTs. As soon as NFTs got big, it was like the anti of crypto. I know that people say, oh, it's all great, it's all part of the ecosystem. But if you notice, as soon as NFTs took off, crypto started to decline and lag. And it's because I believe a lot of the money was being piled into those assets, which doesn't necessarily lead back into the coins themselves going up. There is a lot of scams in NFTs, huge amounts. It's like the Wild West in 17. If you were around in 17, Bitcoin, you'd know that crypto back then, there was a lot of scammy kind of stuff. All right, well, we'll finish it up here, guys. That, like, obviously tomorrow is the big earnings. This is where we're going to be coming back in. And tomorrow at the close, wow. We got AMD, PayPal, Alphabet. Definitely join us for that. It's going to be a big day. Look for Exxon in the morning as well. That will be interesting just to see the overall oil moves. If you're wondering about which particular stocks and things did well, then of course we need to be looking at all of our sectors. We'll just refresh this quickly here. See, natural gas was actually the best, and the Nasdaq performed better, very well as well. Crude's kind of hovering around this $90 bracket, which is pretty good. And across the board, most things were fairly green. Some commodities fell off a little bit. But from the market perspective, all we're doing at the moment is we're waiting for the market to hit some key levels. We've got that 15,000 on the Nasdaq, US 500. We've got about 45.50 as a key level, or 46. Remember, weekly 20 moving average is going to be a big problem, you would think, for this market initially in its trying to rally. So something like this could be in order. And for anyone that's feeling the FOMO, if you missed today's trade, well, probably subscribe, watch the channel, because we certainly did talk about the big moves that we expected on something like a Tesla. And next up, well, we're starting to get into the unknown. We're starting to come into potential resistance. And if that resistance plays out the way we think it might, pull back, and then we'll find out whether the market was just trying to trap. I tend to think it's not, based on the bullish hammer itself. It's a pretty big bullish hammer. It shows that the market is fairly consistently wanting to buy the market and wanting to buy it at this level. And if you think about in the past, when you've seen these big wicks, they've tend to hold up, at least for a period. I mean, here it held up. Yes, it came back, but overall it held up. Again, it came back, but it held up. It's not a joke, there's a lot of money. It's huge amounts of money going into the market. And whenever you see them, you do tend to see the bottoming occur. So we don't know that, but we can certainly be starting to speculate that that might have been all it is. And for everyone that's going bear to the lowest point, I mean, I think that was the worst we were going to get. I still think that's the worst we're going to get. Even if it goes below 3,800 would be my worst case scenario at this stage. Billion says it's a trap with raising interest rates. Many are not buying houses this month already. Yeah, I think you'll see sentiment kind of grind lower on houses, and they will start to sit. But remember, it's not necessarily a crash unless you actually see housing really decline hard. I mean, what's it put on? 20% a year? So what if it drops back 3, 4, 5%? That's going to be a big thing. What you're looking for in the housing market is totally different from just a slowdown. You're looking for a capitulation. You're looking for a crash. You're looking for credit decline, hard credit decline, those types of things. And JR says the 10-year has a bull flag, more hurt for growth. Yeah, so you can look at the 10-year and I think people are getting a little bit too much into flags. I'm not necessarily seeing a flag as much as everybody else is seeing. Flags are a dangerous pattern because you can see them everywhere, or you can specify that they're everywhere. I don't like them for that reason. I actually love flags a lot, but only during very certain periods. So, I mean, I don't know how you're drawing a flag there personally. It's not an indictment on anything that you're doing. I just think that flags, people can see them everywhere. They claim they're everywhere, and it can be very, very difficult. So, I mean, what you're saying is consolidation, moving into, there's your leg or your pole length, and then you're saying that pushes back through. Regardless, you're correct from the level of consolidation, okay? So if it breaches here, yes, you would expect it to explode through too, regardless. But I don't think it's a flag. On the weekly, yeah, but on the weekly, if you look at it, again, it's just 2 candles. I mean, it's all again, same thing. Consolidation, long leg doji, rejection candles, indecision. That's what you're looking at. Thanks so much, everybody. Appreciate it, and good luck in the next 24 hours. We'll be putting out a video on our thoughts of today's move and where to next. Great to see the Nasdaq coming back. Great to see the S&P 500 coming back. We just need to find this next form of resistance, have the standard little pull that we get to the downside, and then we'll find out whether it can get back through those levels and really convince us that this is all about the rally and we have put in the lows. I tend to believe we're still in for some high volatility through to maybe February into March. And if you remember, we also had the VIX still above 25. So while the base might be in for now, it's still a high VIX. We could always turn around. All right. Thanks so much. Catch you later. Remember to subscribe, smash that like button, and we'll see you very soon. Happy Lunar New Year for anybody that does, I guess, follow that. Thank you so much. Bye.